Welcome to One Up Fantasy, helping you one up the fantasy football competition. For the latest in Chicago sports news, visit ChiCitySports.com. And now, here are the hosts of One Up Fantasy, Stephen Johnson and Chris Jackle. Kaboom!
What up, crew? Welcome in to One Up Fantasy here on this wonderful Tuesday evening. I'm Stephen Johnson. He is Chris Jackle, and week one is finally here.
Thank you, sweet baby Jesus. How beautiful is this? We are like less than 48 hours away, dude, and we got games coming. This is fucking awesome. Fantasy points are going to be on the boards. We're going to be talking shit and having fun. I can't believe it's finally here.
It is a long time coming, and it's funny because we still have plenty to talk about, and the games haven't even started. We're going to get through quite a bit tonight. Just to break it all down for you very quickly, we had the TTNL and One Up Fantasy listener / viewer Patreon leagues draft last night. 20 participants, that including ourselves. Going to talk about that a little bit and then move right into some glitches and cheat codes, our version of starts and sits for week number one, and then some bold predictions that we have for the 2021 season as well. And then somehow, some way, we convinced somebody to let us draft their real team with real ramifications live on the show tonight. So that will be taking place in about 30 minutes, 25 minutes now. Yes, so I should probably shut up here so we can get down to the nitty gritty of everything. Again, TTNL, Patreon, One Up Fantasy League last night. You're in one division. I'm in another division. Ralph keeps talking crap. He's not even in the same division.
I know, right? We're the band of, the land of misfit toys, dude. It was fucking awesome. It was a good time last night.
It was a great time. There was plenty of trash talk, which any league cannot go without. And it has been a fun little run of the draft gauntlet, I should say. I mean, we had Claudio the Barber up. Sandman was in there as well. Chris Sandlin. We had so many great draft picks overall. I got sniped quite a few times. I don't know about you, but I did.
I got lucky. I'll be honest. I had a guy that was auto picked. He, gentleman Chris up in Canada, or actually, I don't even know where England. I'm sorry. And he was, he threw it on auto. And so I benefited from that. But outside of that, there were a couple of times the computer fucked me. But, I do like the squad. I feel pretty good about it. And, there was some head scratchers, though, I do have to say. I know. I think you might have saw a few more than I did. But, nonetheless, it was a fucking good time. A lot of shit talking. We have Logan in my division, Josh E., Ralph, obviously. I could bring up the list and go right down it, but we had a lot of fun, we had, I can't forget Mr. Cox, and then Jason, Brian, Brett, and you got everybody else, Tyson, Curtis, Anthony, Claudio, Brayu out in, Mr. Madeira, Jeremiah and JJ and Matt and the boys, dude. It was awesome, man. And it was just good to see like people getting together, a different format of where we could communicate with each other and kind of just like, like we said, we were talking shit, but there was some niceties mixed in, I think. I lost the comment section on my computer for a minute. So I just kind of went, I went dark for a while.
Yeah. Well, you just blame the computer whenever you can, right?
I kind of have to, I was actually laying in bed with the wife watching. It was her birthday. She wasn't feeling well. We're watching a show on TV. I got the computer in my lap and we're just like, next thing you know, she's snoring. So, hey, got to finish the draft without any problems.
So here's Division 1 here. We'll go over it quick. I had the 10 spots. Again, just some, you'll notice that, this is just a standard PPR league, one quarterback, very simplistic. Mahomes going first overall. The number one slot there.
Say it again.
Mahomes going number one overall in the division. So it was a interesting run of the gamut with how those picks went out of that first slot, as you can kind of see some of the other names that are popping up here. Claudio, get out of here. Really, for the most part, though, it was pretty chalk overall. And anytime, Travis Kelce's going to last to the end of the first round, I'm going to take him in a PPR league. But
all day long.
Exactly. I'm not too happy about my running back depth here. Elliott, Edwards, Mike Davis is my third. Meanwhile, you got Claudio, this MF, Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris, and then for whatever reason, I don't know what the hell is wrong with half of our draft, but the fact you allowed Aaron Jones, I don't care if he's a Packer.
That's
the fact you allowed Aaron Jones.
That's why.
How many are there? There's 6 of you. Unforgivable.
But to allow Claudio go before Aaron Jones.
My God, Montgomery, Mixon, Eckler, Gibson all went before Aaron Jones. I was not too great. I was not too great of a feeling there, to say the least, in terms of watching that one all fall apart here. Let's pull up your
probably
side
had
of the
something drafting
quick.
for him. Were you drafting twice, Stephen? Claudio's got the ghost drafter.
Yeah, the ghost drafter lives.
He did well. I can't. He lucked out. What can I say? Get Aaron Jones in the third round. There's nothing else you could really, We had a good draft on our side. It was, pretty standard. It went right down the board. Guys were into it, and they just, we had a couple of times Logan lost internet out in the Philippines, what have you. A rat chewed on the line across the street or something, and we lost service. But outside of that, we were moving. I think we got the draft in under an hour, so it was
solid
fun,
time all around.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I like my squad, personally, but that's just me being me, and say mine's better than yours, but what are you going to do,
I mean, you don't really have any bye week concerns. Just kind of looking over everything that you have here. You sat back on tight end with Gesicki in the 10th round, but out of the 4 spot, Kamara, take that any day in a full PPR. Got to be happy with that. What do you think about
Mixon, Stephen?
I'm on the fence.
Never drafted him in my entire life. This was the first time I've ever had him on a team, so I said, why not?
You had to go YOLO.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm that same way where I was burned by him really bad one year. I was on the train and it backfired horrifically, and I told myself never again am I drafting Joe Mixon. And here we are again with these people that are pushing Mixon up the ladder again, saying the Bengals offense is going to get things going. They improved their offensive line. Did they really, to the point where it's going to make a big difference? Yeah, Joe Burrow is there. Yeah, they have Jamar Chase to really spread things out. I'm not convinced still that it's something that makes sense from a fantasy perspective, especially when you look at a couple of the other guys that are going around that range. I'd rather take CEH. Personally, I'd rather take Chris Carson, and I know that's dropping Mixon pretty far. I'd take DeAndre Swift. Maybe you can throw Najee Harris into that area. I don't know, but those are guys that I would definitely take over Mixon.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny you say that, because when the other draft, I had that same exact opportunity, and I ended up going with I went with Chris Carson, and it was a little bit of I kind of caught a little bit of heat, but I was like, I just don't feel, I was like, too much money invested in that league, and I was like, I'm not putting my eggs in that basket this year. So I just not now, not ever. But then last night happened, and here we are. So I got Mixon on the squad. I'm gonna fuck up the rest of these guys in the league, so it doesn't really matter. I'll see you or Claudio in the finals. Sandman's out.
Going against Chris. everything that you said there. But yeah, hey, you gotta not put all your eggs in one basket. That's the way that you gotta look at it, with the way that, especially when you're degenerates like us, gotta spread it out, spread the love.
Can I ask you a question before we get going? Absolutely. You say degenerates. How many leagues are you in right now?
Is it bad if I don't know the answer?
I was wondering if you were going to say that again, because
I still don't.
Now.
Yeah. It's I'm spread over a few different apps. It's not ideal. So we'll see how this week goes. We'll see if I'm I'm up to snuff on it, but it could be worse.
And we should get a week off of next week. You'll be able to like rest, relax, get your lineups and everything in order, and you won't kind of, you won't be you won't beating up yourself too bad. At least you won't be able to tell anyone about it for a little bit.
I'll just if I get beat up this weekend with my rosters, I'll just ride Space Mountain a few times while I'm off in Disneyland and enjoying the wonderfulness that is Southern California. But let's dive in here. We have one of the segments. We haven't done this segment in a couple weeks. It's our version of Sits and Starts. We call it Glitches and Cheat Codes. And obviously it's week 1, so we're going to talk some week 1 glitches and cheat codes, some guys that we think you might need to throw into that starting lineup or just kind of push aside there on the bench. Nevertheless, we'll do 2 starts and 2 sits apiece.
Perfect.
And we'll start it off. Jackal, who you got as a start?
This is a pretty good one, man. You and I did this a little different, but I'm gonna say it like this. I took 2 positions and I went 2 players in each position, 2 wide receivers, and I'm gonna say this. I took Jerry Judy and Chase Claypool, 2 guys that are very similar. If you kind of went running back heavy early on and ended up going receiver towards like those 6th, 7th, 8th rounds, you could have this dilemma where you're like, shit, I need a wide receiver 3. I gotta play somebody. And here we are with Judy and Claypool. My start is Jerry Judy. Going against the Giants this week. I just think the Giants aren't exactly that strong. They're at like a defensive 22. Teddy Bridgewater getting the nod over Drew Lock. I think that's just kind of like the coming out party. He's going to be throwing the ball around the field a little bit. I'm not saying Teddy Bridgewater is the second coming to Peyton Manning over there in Denver, but I think you could see a much better number out of Jerry Judy. Coming off a great year last year also, but Claypool's no slouch either, wide receiver 26, ADP around 68-ish, playing in Buffalo. I think Buffalo kind of wants to, show everybody, put the league on notice. Yeah. The Pittsburgh Steelers were paper champs last year. They won 11 in a row or 11-1 or whatever it was. And they came in like a lion, went out like a lamb, but with all that being said, I would start Jerry Judy over Chase Claypool. Also the Steelers aren't exactly that strong of a team week 1. I think they're 4-1 since Tomlin came over. And it's just, that doesn't necessarily mean great fantasy numbers or bad fantasy numbers or great it's just, I don't like the Steelers. I feel that the Denver Broncos are going to be somebody that's going to try to show everybody with their new toy, with Teddy Bridgewater. I like Judy over Claypool. So that's my start with Claypool being my sit.
Jerry Judy is a guy that I am very high on this year. You mentioned with Teddy getting the nod over Drew Lock, Teddy working a lot better with the skill set of Judy. So I'm very interested to see just how far they can take that. This preseason, we also did see quite a bit of chemistry working between those 2 guys on the field as well. So very excited to see where that does start up here. I am going to upset a lot of people watching right now. So I'm going to watch the viewership and hopefully it does not fall too far with my first setup of start and sit. And going to look at 2 running backs. First, we'll do the start here, and that being Gus Edwards of the Baltimore Ravens. He's obviously jumped up draft boards left and right. One of my favorite plays in daily fantasy this week as well, taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah. Raiders were a bottom 5 team in points against running backs in 2020. They really didn't do all too much over the course of the offseason to shore up that rushing defense. And here we are with Gus Edwards, the only running back on the roster with regular season carries in the NFL. You have Tyson Williams, rookie, BYU, undrafted free agent. Mm-hmm. Oh, here comes Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell's on the practice squad now. Yeah. But Gus Edwards is going to get at least 15 carries in this game. And knowing just how rough the Raiders' run defense is, it's going to cause some concerns. It really, I see this Ravens rushing attack just going all out on the Raiders week 1 and being led by Gus in the backfield and just letting him run rampant and hopefully carrying the ball for a 5 YPC average, if not more. As I mentioned, I'm going to upset a lot of people here. My sit is the one, the only David Montgomery of the Chicago Bears.
You almost have to, though.
This has okay. Let me clarify. This has everything to do
in the comments.
I know. I'm waiting for it. This has everything to do with the offensive line and not David Montgomery. Plain and simple. Because as we all know, the offensive line has had its fair share of issues, and here we are, week 1 in LA against Aaron Donald, against the Rams defense, who is so damn good. The Rams defensive line, like we said, one of the most dominant. They were 5th in points allowed last year to running backs in 2020. And how many running backs ran for over 100 yards against the Rams last year? You know the number? 0. Nada. None. And it's not going to happen on Sunday night. I'm sorry. But if the Bears might, have improved their stuff, maybe, but I just can't see this offensive line opening up enough holes to break David Montgomery loose. We'll see what happens. What's Claudio saying here, Phil?
Yeah, Phil watching, new hot take here, He wants to get a new sponsorship.
Oh.
What's he want? Squatty potty? What's he trying to get for us? I mean, some liquid death water. What are we trying to get?
Yeah.
I don't know if Claudio can type that fast, but let alone read. But here we are, paying attention to his comments.
Yeah.
But let me,
absolutely.
so, real quick though, with Montgomery and the state of that offensive line, do you think that Jason Peters' move is going to truly benefit the unit? And what I mean by that is, do you think they're that far gone? The one guy can't necessarily fix everything.
This just reminds me a lot of Orlando Pace, and we all know how that ended. You get a guy that, during his heyday was the guy at left tackle. Do I think he has something left? Yeah, compared to what the Bears have as options at left tackle, absolutely. I'm not entirely convinced that it's going to be an immediate impact to, what they can throw out there and what he can do, given the fact that it's been rather limited in what he's done in camp and really nothing in the preseason. And I need to see a little bit. This is probably the wrong way to start things off against a Rams defense. And I've seen comments. They lost some guys. They did lose some guys, but they still have Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
They still have
Jalen Ramsey.
Leonard Floyd, who is a good pass rusher.
Oh, Phil is fucking freaking out after hearing
I know he is. I'm sure he's very angry at me right now. But
he fucking sucks.
And Andy Dalton, you gotta do something.
That's what scares.
Yeah, that's the other big part, because we've seen nothing out of Andy Dalton this preseason. Got to have the passing game going to get the running game going. Plain and simple. Quickly start sit number 2.
Let me jump over there. I went tight ends. I kept 2 guys. Same thing. You waited till the end, like I did in our draft. I held on. When did I take Gesicki? The 12th round? When did you say? I don't even remember. Needless to say, the guy I wanted got taken before me. But, so I'm looking at Tonyan as my start over Dallas Goedert. And I think it's kind of self-explanatory with respects to Zach Ertz saying the other day, I want to retire an Eagle. He's only 3.5 years older than Dallas Goedert. So, obviously 3.5 years is that's kind of a big amount of time. But, he's healthy. He didn't play much. He's had some injuries. I think this is something that's going to benefit Zach Ertz and not Dallas Goedert. And I think they're going to go more back to the old show than the new show in Philly, which to me, if you were looking at 2 tight ends to pick from because you went back to back or, tight end and then whoever, and then a tight end, and you're like, shit, who do I play? I would definitely go Tonyan over Dallas Goedert. I think Goddard was just behind Tonyan. I think TE9 versus TE10. And I just can't see Aaron Rodgers not coming out and shoving it up everybody's ass and just we're against the Saints on the road. You got Winston here. It doesn't matter. We're the same team. We're going to try to run the league, and we're going to try to get right back to lose the NFC championship again and go fuck themselves. But, with that being said, Tonyan is going to be a guy that's going to benefit from Rodgers. He had 52 catches and almost 600 yards last year. He's one of he's one of Rodgers' comfort blankets. And with that being said, that's a guy that you want to have on your fantasy squad, and a guy that you could start, especially if you're picking between Tonyan and Dallas Goedert. So my start is Robert Tonyan. My sit is Dallas Goedert. If that's how you say his last name, because I always fuck that one up. Was it Goedert?
I would be feeling a hell of a lot better about Goddard if it weren't for the fact that Zach Ertz was back in Philadelphia. I think that's the one thing that just kind of kills me with that whole situation that's unfolded with the Eagles. But hey, you gotta just be patient, I guess. I feel like I've been patient for the better half of 3 years now. So who knows? I don't know. It's I am curious though in terms of what Tonyan can do this year, given the fact of just how productive he was with the targets that he got a year ago, which, as we all know, was rather significant in terms of just the overall number of targets that he was able to bring in. I think it was like at 85% of his targets converted to reception.
52 out of 59.
That's insane.
That's amazing.
That is insane.
And that's, and just to add, Stephen, that speaks to what Brady was talking about the other day, throwing guys open and Rodgers is of that same ilk, I think, and just he wants guys to play safe and not get hurt, and I think that also speaks to accuracy and being an elite quarterback. And when you got Rodgers, that precise, I mean, it's just that's an amazing stat. As great it is for Tonyan, I think that also speaks to fucking Rodgers, but whatever. Sorry, I just had to put my little 2 cents there, But and also, people in the chat are freaking out, thinking like you don't think Demo's our lead and all this other shit. This is a fantasy show, people. We definitely are looking at this from a fantasy perspective. We are Bears fans, Stephen. I can't. I don't. He may be a closet Packers fan. Who knows? But with that being said,
don't even no. Don't even go there.
Just okay.
Well, honestly, like if of any players, I want the Bears to prove me wrong. In any sense of the word, I want them to prove me wrong about what I'm saying. But the stats are the stats, and I know the tape never lies. However, you got to look at what they're going up against, and you have to have some level of concern given what is going on, especially this matchup, which may be the toughest for Montgomery in 2021.
So let me ask you, Stephen, have you drafted David Montgomery? I know we got stuff moving here, but have you drafted Montgomery a lot?
Not a lot. I do prefer some other backs in the range.
We did break this down, I think, in our first show too. I was just curious. Since then, have you
one or two? Not a lot. So given how, again, the degenerate that I am, it's a relatively low number. So
I mean, at all.
Yeah, it's hard, and I've always felt weird about drafting Bears playing fantasy. I don't know if you get that same vibe, but
I couldn't even fucking get Justin Fields. I'm pissed about it. Even though every single fantasy team name I have is Captain Justin Fields, so it's like I thanks, Ralph, by the way, you screwed me on that one last night. But, with that being said, it's I have Darnell Mooney as a guy that I got late in a lot of drafts that I was like, you know what? I'll take a homer pick here in the 14th or, the 13th round where a guy could break out and be, a wide receiver too with Justin Fields as opposed to Schlummy over here, the fucking Red Rocket, but whatever.
Hey, it's a good late round pick. I do like Mooney late. I think that's a great pick. Yeah. We'll skip over my last start. So we have bold predictions here quick because we're doing a draft. One of the people that I work with said, hey, do my draft live. I don't know how well it's going to go, but we're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes. Bold predictions for 2021. Let's you want me to start and you want to start?
You gave me the opportunity to go first last time. So I think it's only fair that, the true fantasy expert myself goes. I mean, you go first.
This is going to sound crazy, especially given his age. However, I am of the belief that we will not only see a top 3 quarterback season from Tom Brady, we might see the number 1 QB season from Tom Brady in 2021. And I'm not talking just any crazy. Well, I guess I am talking crazy.
I mean, it's a bold prediction.
You want bold? I think this is going to be along the lines of what happened with Peyton Manning in Denver when he went off. I think even in this, you got to put into perspective here, there's an extra game in 2021, but I am doubling down on Tom Brady. I believe he throws for over 5,000 yards and over 50 touchdowns.
Holy shit.
In 2021. And this is what I'm going to say here. In 5 of the last 7 games in 2020, he threw for over 340 yards. In those last 7 games, he had 20 touchdown passes. You extrapolate that over the course of 17 games, he's over 5,000, and he's just short at 49. It's possible, especially with 17 games.
And he's talking that shit, man. He's ready. It speaks to like wanting to put a stamp on this year. It's almost like they got fans in the stands. They want to go out, and just the way he's talking about it. I mean, not that he's never confident, but and all the avocado ice cream and all the bullshit, but like he is definitely looking at 2021 as a year. They got everybody back. And they even said it, how many games did it take till they really got their feet underneath themselves last year? And once that happened, I mean, they ran the gamut, and they made some teams outside of Chicago. They made some teams look pretty bad, and
that they did.
So I could see that. And it's funny, some people are saying Brady's going to fall off the cliff eventually, but this is a dude that just stands that test of time. It's scary to think there's other QBs like him that may have this longevity. And I'm not going to bring up Rodgers again, but there's some guys like that may play until their 40s. But Brady is just shit. If that bold prediction comes true, you're talking repeat Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
You're also talking probably a fantasy championship if you got him in like the 8th round or wherever you're getting him right now. It's Brady isn't exactly a top. Where do you see him fall? Is he a QB 10, 11 in drafts that we're seeing?
That's where he's being drafted right now.
Yeah, think about that.
Yeah,
and if you like extrapolate, great word, clip that, and over 17 games. I mean,
I can use big words too.
I like that one.
We'll bring this up here. The draft did start. Let's still chat some bold predictions as we go.
Okay.
We have the 9th pick. This is a full PPR league. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wideouts, a tight end, and a flex.
Have you seen Barkley drop everywhere?
I have. It's rather surprising. A little bit. I see the hesitancy, but at the same time, you look at what the ACL injury is now versus what it was 20 years ago. It's a completely different animal.
True. No, very true. Oh, what did I just do here? Sorry, I'm on the wrong screen.
So
go ahead. Where are we? I can't read that.
Yeah, it's a little blurry. I was thinking it would be a little bit better, but it is not.
I trust you.
So we've got Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Najee Harris, Nick Chubb.
Taylor?
Eileen Jones, honestly, or Saquon, one of the two.
I'd go Jones. I mean, Saquon's getting cleared to play week 1 at what, today? Was that official today? Yeah. So, I mean.
And I think we'll get one of these guys on the way back. I could be wrong.
I would take not Saquon, personally. See if you can get him on the turnaround.
Let's go Aaron Jones here. Again, we're not going to let him fall to the 3rd round like our league.
Barkley, I think, Barkley was the Aaron Jones in our league. I think he actually fell to the 3rd round.
So back here, Taylor and Barkley went on the turn. So it was. We have a lot of auto drafters in this league, so maybe this is why he allowed us to do this. So now we have the look of Diggs, Harris, Mixon, Chubb, Gibson, Tyreek Hill. I mean, a 10 team. I kind of lean wide receiver, but at the same time, having those two running backs obviously does its damage.
I like the strategy of the two running backs here just because of, what's going to be available. It seems like, especially with the auto pick, the top running backs are going to be gone. I would definitely take a running back personally in this position.
Let's go Najee Harris. Okay. I'm a big Najee fan.
Right. So we're going to have some time here to pick. You went with Najee Harris?
Yeah, we went Najee Harris.
So that's a perfect opportunity, to talk about one of my bold predictions, Mr. Johnson.
Let's go. Let's talk it.
3 rookies will be in the top 12 fantasy. There'll be three rookie running backs will be in the top 12 for total fantasy points out of all running backs this year.
Okay.
I think that, obviously Najee Harris. I think Javonte Williams and my other gentleman who I think is just going to have a monster of a season. And now I'm drawing a blank. Trey Sermon. Oh my goodness. I can't even think about that. Or I can't believe I forgot. See, Shane, you're making me nervous. But with those three, Trey Sermon, Javonte Williams, and Najee Harris, all three of those have gotten they've gotten the confidence call from their coaches. Yesterday, you heard that Javonte Williams is a guy that they feel comfortable giving it from, first carry of week 1, which doesn't bode well for Melvin Gordon. It just goes to show me that they really like what they see in Williams. We know Trey Sermon is, a bad tackle from most start away from being the full-time starter because I don't trust Raheem. And then, Najee Harris is a dude we've seen Pittsburgh over the last, since Tomlin's been there. They have a workhorse back. They're going to try to get him 15 to 22 carries. And if you do that with Najee Harris, I think he could do some beautiful things in this league. And, with that being said, those 3 guys jumping ahead of some other, like the Niners have a tough, easy schedule, or they have a really easy schedule this year. That bodes well for Trey Sermon. If they get ahead, they're going to start running the ball. Beautiful, and I like these rookie running backs. I just think that there are going to be some guys you could get big numbers out of. I'm not saying the other guys are going to be bad that they're replacing, but I just think those are 3 guys that could be, ultimately 3 in the top 10 is where I wanted to go. And I guess since it is a bold prediction, and this could be a freezing cold take later on or a beautiful hot one. But, let's say 3 rookie running backs in the top 10 for overall running back fantasy production.
I like that. I will say I am equally high on Trey Sermon and Javonte Williams, especially as mid-round guys that have that opportunity to really take the reins and roll with it. Melvin Gordon isn't scaring anybody, and like you mentioned, Raheem Mostert, 30-year-old running back, injury issues. Yeah, he's got that home run potential, but Trey Sermon really fits that outside run scheme that Kyle Shanahan likes to roll with. And I'm very excited to see that. A lot of people have been talking about, well, he isn't breaking tackles, he isn't doing this and that. That's not Trey Sermon's game. You get him into space and you let him run.
Yes, sir.
And he's going to do that in the San Francisco offense, plain and simple. Yeah. I do like that. I will say I do like that. We're 5 picks away here from our 3rd and 4th round selections. They'll be coming up quick. Looking at the draft log here, next go around, we'll mention the next bold prediction. Clyde Edwards, Russell Wilson, David Montgomery had gone. Hopkins, Carson Hill. The tight ends are still on the board here. I'm tempted. I am tempted to go tight end, if not wide receiver wise. AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson. I mean, those are obviously the 2 next up on ADP. Thoughts on those 2 guys? Who do you prefer out of Justin Jefferson and AJ Brown?
I've grown to love AJ Brown this year. I have a thing. I drafted Justin Jefferson in one of my work leagues this year, and it was unfortunate because it was an auto pick. I thought the draft started at 7:30 and not 7, so I missed the first 3 rounds, and I ended up with Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, so I'm actively trying to trade one of them. But I just have a weird thing with Vikings, and it could just be like a mental block. I think Jefferson is a beast. I really like AJ Brown. I think bringing Julio in just makes things a little easier for him, and he may lose some targets and he may lose some balls his way, but that three-headed monster, I just means more single coverage for AJ Brown. And I think that just means some more points for fantasy. And, I just think there's plenty to go around out in Tennessee as opposed to, in Minnesota, where if I die, Kirk Cousins is your quarterback. I don't know how that's going to play out. He could miss like the whole year being unvaxxed. Who knows?
Yeah. AJ Brown did get drafted. So, and Waller did as well. I think Jefferson is now the obvious pick with what is here. So this next go around here, there's a couple guys up top. Allen Robinson, he just went. George Kittle might go now here too, if I had to guess. Yes, he did. So Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, James Robinson.
I like James Robinson this year. I like CD too. I think CD's another one of those sophomore guys that could make a big jump. I just, you got Zeke healthy, you got Dak back. I think he could eat over there. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
So just based on how this board is currently looking, because we have Jefferson with a week 7 bye. Lamb and Robinson both have 7. We also have Najee with a 7. So I'm almost leaning McLaurin just because of the bye week scenario.
Do it.
Yeah, let's do McLaurin. I hate bye. Let's talk about bye weeks here quick. How closely do you look at bye weeks when you're drafting?
2 things. I'm a stack guy. I like to stack a quarterback with a receiver. It's one of the things I do a lot in my fantasy leagues. You'll see it in the one we did last night, DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray, right? I do not look. So my top 4 or 5 draft picks, I do not try to have out of my stack if it falls that way. I don't have my other big name offensive guy I'm trying to have with that same bye week. So I definitely focus the first 5 rounds, 6 rounds. And then once I know I'm in the clear, I can kind of play around a little bit. I'm not as nervous because I've kept myself some space and some availability there. It doesn't always work out that way where you do have to look at it, but you could draft like 3 guys with bye week 7 and then but they're your reserves. So it's kind of just, you're 1 week, you got to worry about it, but that's just really how I look at it in the beginning, just really the first 5-6 rounds. What about you?
I get cold feet. I think that's the best way to put it is I get cold feet, especially week 7. Did we take
Terry, by the way, or did we take Jefferson? We took Terry, right?
We took Terry and Jefferson, so we got both of them. Logan is not happy with me.
Wait, we went Kittle on the board?
Kittle was on the board in the 3rd. I
thought you wanted to go tight end.
I did. I just here's my thing. Like
we are loaded for our first 4 skill positions. We are pretty stacked there.
Right. And the thing about this now is, you have Jefferson, you have McLaurin. You can kind of push away from what you're looking at a wide receiver for a couple of rounds. And in all honesty, I'm absolutely fine personally with coming away with one of that next tier, be it the Kyle Pitts, the TJ Hawkinson, or the Mark Andrews.
I love Hawkinson this year.
Are horrifically sleeping on. He has the big breakout in 2019, doesn't do as much as people expected in 2020, gets hit with COVID, he sits out, and here we are again, him sitting anywhere between the 4th to 6th tight end on the board, coming off the board, I should say. And it's people like are forgetting. It's that short-term memory.
There's some great value in the tight end in that second tier. I totally agree with you. I think TJ Hawkinson is a guy that is speaking from other tight ends in the tight end in some of the interviews post that they've said TJ is a guy that, he had a monster year last year and he's the only guy they really have as an option there now. They lost their top 2 receiving options in Detroit. That speaks very well for TJ. And, I don't have the numbers in front of me and I could look them up, but I just think TJ is a guy that could definitely take that step and be a Kittle. He's a poor man's Kittle now, and that's no knock on Kittle. I just think that he's that close to the next tier. And he's a guy I targeted a few of my drafts where I wasn't, if I couldn't get Kelsey, I don't really target him all that often. If he falls to me late, that's great. But, I think he's a guy that you could be very, very happy with. That's somebody Goff is really going to want to find in DMC, and what's his name there? DMC's offense. We don't know what it's necessarily going to look like, but we have a little bit of idea what he did in Miami. But, with that being said, it's he's going to get some looks. It's a good thing. And I think he's a guy that's going to make that jump to the next tier.
So that being said, we are on the board here with this 30 seconds left. So the turn has Kittle already. I think we can wait until the next roll to go tight end.
Yeah.
DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp, Darrell Henderson, if you want to double down.
It's a tough one. What are the top two?
Henderson and Moore.
Nope. Coop.
All right, we'll go Cooper Kupp. So we've got Cooper Kupp is a PPR monster.
Yeah. You said it's full point, right?
Yeah, and it's full point.
Yeah,
so it's honestly a no-brainer for where he's at. Josh Allen is still on the board along with Kyler Murray as well, but I'd have to say that going tight end is probably the way to go here.
Who do we have? We have Pitts,
Andrews, and Hawkinson.
Oof.
So
I like Andrews too. He just got that bag.
I mean, I'm with you on the Hawkinson train. I think he's due for a big breakout, and there's been a lot of talk about Jared Goff going in and getting that chemistry going with Hawkinson. And third-year tight end, that's the year that things start to break out. Yeah, let's go Hawkinson, or else I'm going to kick myself if we don't come away with one of them, because I don't think they're going to last this next go around. I think Andrews is going to be gone relatively.
You'll see him
quickly.
going the next two picks probably. When someone takes a tight end like that, then they panic because that next tier after Hawkinson and Andrews, Pitts is gone. You said right?
Yeah.
He
was taken in the fourth.
Yeah. I'm still surprised by that. I mean, last night he was sitting there and I was contemplating. I had him queued up and then somebody drafted him. And so I went in a different direction. And I, ended up waiting like 4 rounds to get it, or 3 rounds to get a tight end. It wasn't good.
Yeah, it's it's kind of treacherous. So these middle rounds, there's never any rhyme or reason to them, and they're never one and the same in terms of how they kind of break down and how they go. All right, quarterbacks are starting to fly off the board here. Murray, Allen, and Jackson all gone.
I can read it now.
Quarterback's one of those things.
Jerry
Judy just went.
Oh shit.
I
like T. Higgins.
Here's the thing about NFL.com's fantasy setup. The ADP is so screwy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I've done one league with NFL.com.
Yeah, it's I don't recommend it.
No.
I will say that I don't recommend
Sleeper, I know it's not a paid sponsorship, but they are definitely an app and a site that I do like. You are right, there are some things missing in the commissioner tools. But that platform for what we needed to do last night and how that came together. So I mean, it was perfect and it was free and it was wonderful.
Yep, absolutely. So we got 7 picks here. Let's do some more bold predictions while we're waiting here for this.
You want to drop one?
Yeah, let's. I'm actually going to talk about a guy that was just sniped from us, and I wasn't anticipating him to go in the 7th round. Excuse me. Talking about Jerry Judy. We talked about him a little bit earlier. I'm of the belief that he is going to finish as a top 10 wide receiver in 2021. You pair the separation, the footwork, and everything that Jerry Judy does so great. Had over 2.5 yards of separation on average last year, some of the best in the league. Tie that together with Teddy Bridgewater, a fantastic, accurate quarterback. It's going to be a recipe for disaster for opposing defenses. Very excited about it. And with Sutton back, you're not going to see too much double coverage on Judy. It should work out to everybody's advantage and be a pretty solid
we are on the clock.
Offensive push overall here.
I see our quarterback.
No.
Do you like
We're not
Kareem Hunt?
taking Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, we probably win a championship if we did, but
Oh, God, ugh. So we only have 2 running backs here, so this might be high time to grab another running
Claudio in
back.
here, yeah.
You have Gaskin, Kareem Hunt, Chase Edmonds.
Gaskin makes me nervous, but
A little bit, yeah. And then you have Hunt
But
has
he's-
that upside if Chubb goes down, but he also has a week 13 bye. So I'd say it's Edmonds or Gaskin. Where should
I'll
we
let
go?
you pick. I pitched the last one.
Oh,
Gaskin.
I'm going Gaskin. Screw it. Like full
We're gonna
PPR,
take a
I probably
quarterback next.
wouldn't. Say what?
You're gonna take a quote. There goes Rodgers.
I got my eye on geez, that was fast. I don't think it's time for a quarterback yet.
Would you go? So let me ask you this then. I wasn't saying necessarily now, just based on what I see in front of me, but I do like Williams. Is that Javante?
That is Javante. I think that's a solid pick.
And it's what
I
round?
honestly do.
8?
This is the 8th round. So the
That's a
guys
great
ahead of
pick.
him: Kareem Hunt, Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert is there.
Edmonds is nice too. I'm not going to hate on Edmonds there, but
Edmonds is one of those guys I can't put my finger on.
I feel like Hunt's in the same boat, so that's why I wouldn't necessarily. I'd go with Williams personally.
Okay,
but we did just draft. Well, we didn't get Judy. We were just talking about him. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Let's go Williams. I think that's a solid pick. That's a solid play to get things rolling there. So that really solidifies the running back room. You have Gaskin, Williams, Harris, and Jones. The bye weeks spread out nicely as
Your
well.
boy's gonna be happy once we get a QB. We're gonna be sitting
I sure
pretty.
hope he is.
Well, shit, he let you draft. He has no choice. Like, what the hell?
I know.
Like,
yeah, no. It's
it's gotta be tough,
I feel weird drafting for people because, in my opinion, drafting is the most fun part of the year. And yet here I am. I counted this morning. I've done 39 of these for people this year.
Damn.
I just want to I'm more in a boat now where I just want to teach people that this is the fun part and not the just setting the lineups and winning the money, which winning the money is fun. Don't get me wrong. However,
drafting is great.
Drafting is the best part because you get to mold it into what you believe it to be that could come away with the championship. But if you're not too confident, I guess that's a whole nother conversation. Do you have another bold prediction here?
I do. I win a couple. I obviously I found in doing this, I thought about a couple of them, and I like talking about rookies. We've done that a lot this show. And I want to bring up Jamar Chase. And I think this year, out of the top 5 rookie wide receivers, I'm going to go with Chase. I'm just going to name them, and then I'm going to rank them for you and where I think they fall at the end of the year in regards to fantasy points. Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Elijah Moore, and Terrence Marshall Jr. I would have Bateman in there, but with his injury and surgery, obviously he falls, right? I think Jamar Chase could possibly be the worst fantasy production out of all 5 of those guys. That's a bold prediction. The reason it's a bold prediction is because Chase is the first one drafted at all 5 of those guys. And I could see 3 out of 5 of those guys having better years. The other 2 would have to really kind of overproduce and play above their head. But with that being said, everything we've seen from Jamar Chase hasn't been great. I'm a little nervous about what you're going to see. They got 2 other strong weapons in Higgins and Boyd. We talked about Mixon earlier. So he could get lost in the shuffle and be the dude that kind of gets, some scraps if he's not getting open. And, money talks in the NFL. If you're not getting open, you're not getting the ball. And he doesn't have that pedigree where he's been in the league for a while. So he may deserve some targets. Doesn't work that way. And I think Burrow is going to find out, he's going to need to get rid of the ball. He's going to be a little nervous with that knee. And I could see that really hurting Chase. And, with Waddle and Devonta Smith, I think you could just see them have great numbers regardless. But with Elijah Moore and the dude from Carolina that just eluded me, Terrence Marshall Jr., who knows? But, in terms of a bold prediction, wanted to throw that out there, and it could be a freezing cold take, but wide receiver 4 or 5 out of Jamar Chase, out of all the rookies, I don't think many people are saying that right now, and who knows?
Yeah, I do believe there's a chance that definitely could happen, especially when you put into perspective that the Bengals are not going to be leaning on him by any means. T. Higgins is so severely underrated as a wide receiver this year. I'm convinced, barring injury, he's going to go for over 1,000 yards and then some. On top of that,
year.
Tyler Boyd, same thing.
Yeah.
Fantastic slot guy, has produced in the past, has always been underrated. It's one of those things where it's like it makes sense when you start to put all the wheels into motion. And then you even just hear about the fact that he's just not showing who they thought he was when they drafted him in camp. And you're like, okay, what's going on here? It's I can definitely see that. Without a doubt, I can definitely see that happening.
I'm curious to see who you think out of these quarterbacks here based on your Tom Brady bold prediction. I was wondering if you were I like Tannehill. I'm not.
I like Tannehill too. That's the problem. I just, gosh, I don't know.
I don't like Hurts. I'm not a big,
No.
I mean, Hurts could put up, you could go make a bold prediction and say he could be a top 12 QB, this year, but I don't like Philly.
I got to stick to my guns with Brady. I'd be a pussy if I came out and said all that and then didn't draft him. I feel like I've been drafting him everywhere lately, and it's going to backfire in my face sooner or later.
He just needs everyone to wear the old numbers again. He hates seeing everybody in the single digits, but yeah, I guess you could bitch when you're 45, but
we are back on the clock though. So we'll pull down the list here. There's your boy Chase. You have Sutton, Boyd, Williams, Smith. Edmonds is still here.
I almost feel that's things are happening for a reason. He's still
there.
I think it might be. I mean, who else is there running back? Just if you don't mind taking a quick peek before we run out of time.
The others at running back, Trey Sermon. Your boy Trey Sermon's there.
He'll be there on the way back.
Yeah, that's it. We gotta go with
Edmonds.
Yeah. I'd say that you are correct by all accounts.
Do you think the people in this league will sleep and we may be able to grab Trey Sermon with
So
I'm trying to hit the button on my screen like I can do it on
my so with these benches, I will say this. Because if you see here, so we have Brady, Aaron Jones, Najee Harris, Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, TJ Hawkinson, Cooper Kupp. God,
dude, that's a beast of a team.
I want this team. Gaskin,
look at your bench.
Williams, and Edmonds on the bench. So there's only 3 bench spots left. Let's keep that in mind as we move along here. Definitely another wide receiver or 2.
Can you scroll back up, Stephen, please? Just to the our team? Yeah. All right. I was just curious if it was 3 wide receivers. I don't.
Just 2.
Yep.
Just 2 in a flex. So, it's one of it's a full PPR. We've got PPR backs out of our ass right now.
Good trade,
and yeah, I don't know how it's funny. Redraft leagues, they're like afraid to trade. I don't know what it is.
To trade.
I do too. I don't get it. I don't understand why people don't like it. I don't know if they're worried about getting fleeced.
Yeah, it's people whole like they're going against who the guy they drafted. It's like I picked this guy. I think he's good, and now I'm going to trade him, and I'm going to get burned when he's. I don't want it to happen against me. And it's like
exactly.
Dude, trades should be equal both parts. If you're worried about getting fleeced, you're in the wrong league. Like typically you're playing with your buddies or guy. I mean, granted, it's competition but whatever. But if someone's doing it in good faith, you should, shit. If they're evil, someone's going to call it out, and you should know. But at the same time, do you believe in voting on trades?
No, I do not. I do not believe in vetoing either. I mean, this is how I feel about things, is that we're all grown-ass adults, and if you can't cover your own ass when it comes to just being able to, manage a team in a game, then that's on you. That's ultimately where, and I've had a very large change of heart on that topic in the past, because I used to be the complete opposite. However,
Really,
we all learn and we all grow.
part of life.
Exactly. All right, we're back on the clock. Tight end wise, Fanta still here is a backup tight end.
Okay.
Higbee. Wide receiver wise, you have Pittman. Antonio Brown is here. Mooney. Thomas is a stash. There are IR spots here.
I think he's going to be available next round. I don't know.
Okay.
I just think when you have a 10-team draft like that, I feel that, there's so many good guys out there. People are still willing to I'll get them next round. Do you like any of the Jacksonville players this year?
I can't trust them. Because I have no idea what Urban Meyer's going to do.
Yeah.
That's what scares me more than anything. I lean Pittman.
I like
because
Pittman.
I
Pittman's your
gotta go
guy.
Pittman.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
You doing all right over there?
Yeah, I'm just dying. I've got my cough drops. I'm doing great. We're back on the clock again. Who was taken there? We had Fuller and Chenault taken on the turn. So we have 4 wide receivers. We've got 5 running backs, 2 bench spots, a defense, and a kicker are left. Defense wise, it's getting thin. I think we can wait on a defense.
Do you stream these in leagues that you have defenses, or do you target, like the Rams or the Redskins or some of those top, the Broncos, some of those top defenses? Or I don't know why I said Denver, but
personally, I think it varies.
Yeah,
I think it does vary. I'm not entirely.
You want to go with Thomas and stash him?
Yeah, I got to stash.
Make your boy happy.
This is God, any league. So I mean, okay, there's still tomorrow. I know there are a lot of people drafting tomorrow. You're all very bold for drafting the day before the league kicks off. However, if you have an IR spot and you are not targeting Michael Thomas, you are doing things incorrect. Plain and simple.
12th round.
Go and do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a dart throw. He's going to sit for 6 weeks. We get that. As soon as the draft is over, throw him into IR, pick up another player. You're good. Plain and simple, you're good.
You know what's great about him too, though, Stephen, is if you're playing in a keeper league, in a league where a guy like that is available, you get him in the 12th round. He's a guy that now he's keeper eligible, and to get Michael Thomas, one of the top top 5 wide receivers in the 12th round next year, that's pretty good value all day long. I wouldn't shake a stick at that. I'd take that all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I drafted him, I think, 3 times this year.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. That is the way to do it. So 1 quarterback league, there's going to be plenty of quarterbacks on the waiver wire.
Yeah, I'm not a backup QB guy.
More of a backup tight end player. Okay, we'll do that. I'm trying to make sure I know Shane has a button. Yeah. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say anything.
There he goes. I was surprised. I was wondering when Johnny was going to go, because if he was there, he is a guy that's been just dropping and drop. I dropped him in our league we did already, but with that being said, he's a dude, Mac Jones, he's the only game in town right now with Hunter out. I just think he's underrated or undervalued. I'm just really surprised by that. I don't know. I mean, if you can get him where you get him, like this guy got him in the 13th round. That's fucking or 12th round. That's awesome.
No, absolutely. And again, kind of to go back to NFL's ADP here, like Noah Fant is for the most part universally expected as the tight end 7, and you have Jonnu ahead of him. However, I do believe Jonnu has that upside. Everybody thought Jonnu had that upside last year with the Titans, and it never really materialized. And now he goes into an offense in New England where the tight end position, while it hasn't been as positive from a fantasy perspective, back to when Gronkowski was there, it's still an offense that focuses in on getting the ball to the tight end.
Yeah.
And Jonnu has that. Hunter Henry, a lot of people want to talk about Hunter Henry. He's just got to stay healthy for more than 2 weeks. That's his biggest thing. He just needs to stay healthy, and I don't think he's going to, which is going to be the big thing here. So here we're left, depending on who this next pick is here. So Lawrence gets picked. So we have Fant, Higbee.
Out of those gentlemen there, I think Fant by far. I mean,
I would agree with you on that. That seems like a no-brainer.
We got the turn coming, right? So I would go get him.
Yeah, let's grab Fant as the backup there. We should be all set. Which leaves us with a defense and a kicker for the remainder of this draft. So we've got the Colts, the Saints, the Bills are still on the board. I believe that they're ranked pretty high. Am I wrong?
No, am I making this up? If you give me 1 second, I could tell you. I actually have it right in front of me here. They're defense 8. They're top 8.
Colts, Bills, Saints, Patriots. Man,
do you like the Colts? I think they're going to be on the field a lot personally, but
I go back and forth because I think their defense is formidable. I just don't know if it's formidable enough. Crap.
Bills.
Screw it. I'm going to take
You're going Colts? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take them. I'm going to regret it later.
No, they got some players. They got some bangers. Darius Leonard, and they got some dudes that can definitely make some plays. Are you in any leagues with defensive players?
I'm in 2. I joined an IDP Invitational. I have no idea what I'm doing in it. But I am in a very heavy IDP league, and I'm just kind of hoping that it all works out. Cherie's here. Oh, we're both clicking.
Oh, go ahead.
IDP as well. Cherie, how do you like IDP? Because it's a different animal. It feels
I've never done it.
Like a different game. And man, I don't know. There's just something about it where it's either going to go horrifically wrong or I'm going to get sucked down a rabbit hole and want to do more.
So it's drafting a linebacker, somebody that's going to make the tackles, interceptions, pressures, whatever. I don't know what all the stats are, but
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Just safeties, corners, all that stuff.
What do players typically get in terms of like a point value? Do they average like 8 points a game? Or are there like defensive studs that do like 6, like a Kamara of the linebackers?
Yeah. So like linebackers are like the running backs of the defense. Okay. And then you've got safeties, obviously some safeties more focused on the pass protection, others coming up and, tallying anywhere between 80 to 100 tackles. And then again, depending on the scoring setup, defensive linemen, if sacks are valued high, you've got guys like Aaron Donald that will make a huge difference in any league. It's weird because they're never one in the same IDP leagues. They all seem to have their own quirky way of doing things. Okay.
Interesting. I want to try that out. I mean, it's something that I've never done before, but it's first time for everything.
Yeah, I will say it is worth trying. Yeah, so sure is one linebacker, one defensive tackle, one defensive end, a corner, and a safety. So that's pretty standard overall.
Okay.
Honestly, I am feeling like I'm going to enjoy it. It's just as soon as I hit the waiver wire, I'm going to think, oh God, what have I done? I think that's kind of the point where I'm at.
Okay.
With how that goes.
I'd like to check that out. You got to show me that roster because I'd like to see that in person just to figure. That sounds kind of interesting. That's just a different spin on fantasy. It's a good way for. It's also breaking up the monotony of like your standard PPR and super flex leagues and all those. There's other leagues out there, but that sounds pretty cool.
No, absolutely. It feels a little bit more unpredictable too, which I'm not sure is a good thing. Kind of feel like a little bit more of a lottery ticket, like, hey, let's roll. So we have kicker left. Matt Prater is here. Cairo Santos is here. If we want to be a homer, should we be a homer with the last pick?
I would totally be okay. I think it's a good play.
Okay, we'll be a homer with the last pick.
Bagley so ranked? How's he ranked that high when he's not on anybody's team?
That's a great question. All right, we'll be homers. We'll take Santos.
What a draft
to wrap things up. We'll see how this goes. Here, we'll let's do this. Analyze draft. I'm going to bring up the Fantasy Pros.
Yeah.
Setup here.
Let's see how we did.
Share screen. Let's go. Here we go. Man, I got a feeling this isn't going to be good because I haven't seen this yet, but we'll try it anyway. Okay. All right. So we're second.
Okay.
We're second. So it's not terrible. They hate our quarterback. I disagree.
You got to love Jones for TB12.
Yeah. Well, here's it. So Pound the Rock Rat Pack. We finished second to him in both starters and in bench, just slightly. So really, this looks like a 2-man race.
We did well.
Just based on the overall breakdown here. So overall, I'll take it. It's not bad. Robert here. What does he say? Do you like having kicker? Or would you rather get rid of him? I like my league without. I don't care for kickers. I will just say that I'm not a kicker person.
Okay.
Are you?
I am actually. I'll say this. In the league I run, one of the leagues I run, I make my kickers value pretty significant. You get 3 points for a field goal for 30 yards. You get 4 for 40. You get 5 points for a 50, and you get 6 for a 60. But if you miss kicks, you get fucking slayed. So it's like, you miss an extra point, -2. You miss a field goal. You miss a 30-yarder, it's -1.5. You miss a 40, it's -1. You miss a 50, it's -0.5. If you miss a 60, you don't lose anything. But like, I've had kickers, get like 24 points and win somebody elite. It's also burned people where a guy missed an extra point and you end up losing by 1 point. And it's like, what the, guys are mother effing me. But
that's why I don't like it. That's why I play Dynasty, because Dynasty leagues rarely have kickers, and that is fine with me. I just don't want to think about it. I don't want to worry about them because they're so random with how they score.
You can max it. If you play it right, you can stream it, but you can also, it's something that you just pay. I hear both sides of it. Look, but there are good kickers out there.
That's true.
And with that being said, there's a reason they're the highest scoring position players are normally kickers. What's it? Vinatieri's the highest scoring, all-time leading scorer in the NFL, right? As a kicker. And they score points, and, it's a good way to maximize if you run leagues, or even if you have, I just look at it as value. And for me, with what I do with my kickers is I just try to make more players more valuable, guys that are available to trade, and make somebody not that kickers are getting traded, but I just try to make things a little bit easier on everybody, make it a little more fun. And the unknown, you need a little bit of luck to win in fantasy. So it's not always, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but
very true. Very true. You got to have luck in any sense of the word to play fantasy football. Plain and simple. Got to be lucky.
Yeah.
It sucks that way, but
can't win if you don't play.
Exactly. We're a bunch of degenerates. We'll just keep it at that.
Stop saying that, Jesus, someone's listening,
We know. It's fine. It's common knowledge at this point. So next week.
Yes. Oh boy.
What's going on next week?
I'm probably going to have all the awesome guests that we were talking about getting to come on next week when you're not here. No, but we're going to have a good show. We're going to kind of recap week 1. We're going to do a big start and sit, just kind of see how everything went. Our cheat codes. We're going to go down the list. I think, we may have a guest or two, just nothing crazy. We may see some familiar faces, but with that being said, it's scary to know that you're not going to be here. So I'm going to keep away from the red button, and we're going to have a good time. Honestly, sorry I had to do it, but
I'm never going to live that down.
It's a pretty big fucking thing that, but no, I'm looking forward to, talking fantasy after week 1. It sucks you're not going to be here to do it because, you're the Rain Man of statistics, and, you can pull things out of places I didn't know existed, with stats. Cut that, Shane. That's another clip. So fuck you. But with all that being said, I hope you have an awesome vacation. First off, I hope you feel better. But enjoy time with your family.
Yeah, there's been a cold going around. I think everybody's seen it in some shape or form. Thankfully not COVID or anything of the like there, but nice sunny week in Southern California coming up.
Nothing wrong with
so
that.
very
Did you find a ticket?
Say what?
Did you find a ticket?
A ticket? I did not.
Right.
I'm monitoring.
Okay.
I feel as though I will put myself in the doghouse for the remainder of vacation if I attempt to do that.
Put it on TTNL. Just say, look, we got Shy City TTNL. We need people in the stands. Fuck Greg. We need actual people that know what they're talking about and talk about the Bears. What better way to have you there in LA?
Yeah, I because the thing is, so we're doing San Diego and then we're doing Disneyland, and so we're doing Disneyland the day after we're in San Diego. So it's like we drive up to LA, then we have to drive back to San Diego, and then we drive back to Disney up in LA, and it's like, okay, I'm playing with fire just from there, but sure, it won't be far from me. We'll still be in Vegas. That sounds like a fun place. Better than giving a mouse a lot of money. But hey, it's all fun. It's all fun.
Staying away from Florida, thank goodness. So
yeah, can't go there. There's enough going on there that
it's another show.
Yeah. It's actually next week's topic. No. We'll see. Who knows? Yeah. I might sneak there. We'll see what happens.
It would be awesome, but if you don't pull it off, you hope you have a blast with your family. You'll be in good. The show will be in good hands next week. We'll have some fun. It will probably be a longer show just because I will probably just be long-winded and babble and bullshit. But no, nonetheless, we're going to be talking fantasy. We're going to be doing some of the same, but maybe some new stuff. But we're definitely going to recap the TTNL One Up Fantasy League, talk some shit about some teams. Try to ruffle some feathers and see if we can get that going. It's always nice when my phone's going off at 3:00 in the fucking morning saying, I'm like waking up to whatever. But, we're definitely going to talk about that. And we're definitely going to talk about everything fantasy football. I am so excited for fucking tomorrow night or Thursday night, which is 2 nights away. Less than 48 hours.
2 sleeps. Wait, man. 2 sleeps.
Yes. Yes. In my house, that's like 1 night of sleep because everybody's maybe sick, which means everybody's up. So, I'm hoping to get 8 hours in 2 days. So it'll be good.
Enough Mountain Dew and caffeine, you'll be ready to roll.
Energy drinks all day. Let's go.
Hey, whatever it takes.
Truth.
Well, that's going to do it here for One Up Fantasy this week. Thank you for tuning in. The podcast will be out tomorrow morning if you'd like to listen back if you missed any portion of tonight's episode, or if you're listening to the podcast now. Hey, thanks for listening. That's all there is to it. He's Chris Jackle. I'm Stephen Johnson. Thank you again. Jackal will talk to you next week. I'll talk to you in 2 weeks. But enjoy week 1. Enjoy real football. Don't forget to set your lineups. Don't forget to browse that waiver wire and start your team off on the right foot. Until next time, have a good night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.